What's going on, my lovely audience? Shout out to the Paranormal Worldwide crew, Paranormal Encounters, and that's about it. That's where this video is at, live both on Facebook and YouTube. So, I'm gonna go ahead, wait a couple minutes. Started a couple minutes early because we have a lot to talk about. I tried to condense all the main history for this battle of Gettysburg, the Gettysburg campaign, to keep it kind of short, because I could literally sit here and talk your ears off for hours about this battle and any battle in the Civil War. I'm just a huge history buff. If you can't tell behind me, it's just been one of my, favorite topics ever since I was a young kid. So, as usual, we'll wait a few minutes to have everybody get on in here. Shout out to my old South Pittsburgh family. Down at the hospital. I wish I could be there with y'all tonight. You guys are having an amazing time with the Ghost Brothers. I'm so glad that they got down there and they're able to do their event. I'm so bummed I missed it, but I'm thinking of everybody. I'm loving the pictures, so keep those coming out. How's everybody doing tonight? What's everybody up to? It's Saturday. I'm relaxing. Long work week. We'll just leave it at that. So that being said, wait a few more minutes and we'll get started promptly. What's up, Ethan? What's up, bro? How's it going, man? Oh, and if you haven't, make sure you check out The Sleepless Unrest. It's officially out. It's been out since July 16th. Such a good film. Shout out Kendall, Vera, Rochelle, amazing crew. John Huntington's also in there. So yeah, excellent film. Oh boy, we got a lot to talk about today. This is something I'm very passionate about. This battle was the turning point. It's considered the turning point of the war, which will make sense here when we talk about it. So I'm gonna wait for a few more people to get on here, and like I said, we'll get started momentarily. Let's give everybody a chance to get on in here. My usual is probably not going to be here tonight because half of them are at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital right now for the Ghost Brothers event. I miss everybody. Wish I could be there, but yeah, a couple more minutes, y'all. So bear with me. We'll get started. Get those views up. Then we'll get rolling. And there is a gnat in this house that is about to get smacked. Yeah, okay. So here we go. We're going to talk about the Battle of Gettysburg. And after we talk about the general history, we'll talk about the history as far as the hauntings and whatnot. On top of that, some personal experiences that I've had being out there. Gettysburg, to me, is one of my more focused on topics through the Civil War, like I said, because it was a crucial battle. So those of you that may not know, the Gettysburg campaign started. The battle actually started July 1st through the 3rd in 1863, and it happened in the surrounding town in the farmland of what is now Gettysburg. Of course, it's changed over the 158 plus years. But a lot of it remains the same as far as the battlefield. It's just more grown up than it was. If you go back and look at some of the pictures right after the aftermath, like Little Round Top, stuff like that does not look the same as it does now because it was destroyed for one, and there was just less trees compared to what it is now. So how it started, basically the battle was fought, of course, through the Union Confederate. Let's get more into detail as far as the units that were fighting there. What's up, Linda? How's it going? You had the Army of the Potomac, Union Army, and you had General Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. And, I mean, I think the Union Army, they were around like 104,000. and Lee had around 70 to 75,000. These numbers aren't exact. This is just, I mean, it's so hard to get pinpoint information, especially with casualties and all that other stuff. So anyway, so I'm just going to try to put it in perspective for everybody. The battle indeed it suffered the most casualties of the war, and casualties meaning, wounded, killed, etc. But there was roughly around 50,000 plus casualties, but there was only I think it was 3,500 or something like that killed. Sounds a lot less than the 50,000. The casualties, like I said, were mixed in with the death and stuff like that. But there was, based on the records that they have, that they could count, I guess, a little over 3,500. But still, that's a lot of people laying dead on the ground. And those of you that have never been to Gettysburg, it's a beautiful, beautiful farmland. It's just it's absolutely phenomenal. It's gorgeous. It's just such a peaceful area. So the battle started, like I said, July 1st through the 3rd of 1863. It was considered the war's turning point due to the fact of the Union's decisive victory in the siege of Vicksburg. So that left Lee, long story short, that left Lee pissed off, and he's like, hey, I want to take the fight to them in the north. So you got Pennsylvania and you got, Virginia, I mean, literally on the same borders. So that's how the campaign started. So Lee, brings his, has his little scouts and stuff. They roll on in to Gettysburg, or the land. I don't know exactly where they were positioned, but they stumbled upon what they thought was dismantled cavalry, which was a big no for Lee. Later on, you'll find out if you don't already know. So what do? They decide to kind of take a shot at him. So the first shot was fired. I believe the Union fired the first shot. Could be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And that's, lo and behold, that's how Gettysburg started. So this, we'll get into the nitty gritty things. Like I said, Lee, Lee got defeated. Of course, we'll just go ahead and let everybody know that, yes, Confederacy, they lost battle heavily. But they thought they had an advantage in the beginning. So we'll get into that right now. So imagine this, the native population of Gettysburg, without the soldiers and stuff, there was roughly around 2,400 people. To me, I think that would be a pretty big sized town for back in the day. That was in 1863. Just imagine your home, your farmland turns into a huge battlefield, conflict at the drop of a hat. Just boom. What's going on? I can't see who's commenting, but shout out to you. It just says Facebook user, so I'm kind of using my phone to make sure I'm not getting off topic. So I'll go back and I'll read the comments and give everybody a shout out here soon. So not only, does your land and everything turn into a, just a combat zone, everything starts getting taken from you. You have to imagine these armies, by the time they arrived at Gettysburg, and as they were arriving to Gettysburg for reinforcements, were starving, hungry. They didn't have shoes, necessities and stuff like that. So they were taking anything and everything. Not on top of that, your house is being pulled apart, or your church or whatever. All the buildings and stuff are being pulled apart. Your barns for field hospitals. You have thousands of dead men laying around. And hundreds of dying at times. It just absolutely crazy. Not only that, but your house is getting pelted by musket balls for smoothbore. If those of you that are into the firearms, they shot the more round, and then you also have what would be considered the mini ball, which is, the rifled barrel and the three ringers, which I actually have. I don't have a mini ball, but I have examples of both sides. These were actually found at Gettysburg. Hold on. I gotta open it up. Kind of show you, those of you that may not know about these. if I can get it open. Bear with me, all. I keep these things, tight and secured. So what I'm going to show you first is what a lot of the Union soldiers would have shot. That is your 3-ringer, mini ball. Okay, these are heavy. These are heavy lead. I mean, they're heavy. This is what a lot of Confederates would have used, 2-ringers. Sometimes pistols. They had, stuff similar to that. And then, of course, you had your smooth bore muskets that would shoot the round, 69 caliber, or bigger or smaller. I don't know. I don't think they got bigger than 69 caliber. You get the picture. Those would be hitting your house. On top of that, you had a lot of artillery, grape shots. So those of you that may not know what grape shots are, aka canister shell, which we use against infantry now overseas and stuff. It is like a big shotgun. So imagine these little musket balls or BBs. It's, if you want to make, just imagine that being shot out of a cannon like a big shotgun, just boom. So all that stray round stuff, and you can still see it to this day, the damage and the destruction that this battle left behind. So, and then being run out of your own house. So you can only imagine the chaos as far as, being a civilian at the time. So long story short, that was used mainly, the grape shots were used for infantry and, cavalry to stop charges and stuff like that. So long story short, in May of 1863, Lee led his army through the Shenandoah Valley to begin his second invasion of the North, aka the Gettysburg Campaign. This is where, Lee, thought he was going to change the war. So with Lee's army, of course, they had high morale at the time. Lee intended to shift, like I said, the focus of the summer campaign, from Northern Virginia, and, hoped to influence Northern politicians and all that good stuff to give up the, the war, basically. His plans were to basically penetrate as far as he could into the Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, even Philadelphia. But where did the pieces land? Gettysburg. So now we're going to get kind of into the battle history. I'm reading from my phone. I put everything together. So President Lincoln prodded Major General Joseph Hooker to move his army in pursuit, but he was relieved command literally 3 days prior to the Battle of Gettysburg. Which those of you that have been to the battlefield, you may or read the books or seen the movies, General Meade, that is who replaced Hooker. So Meade was kind of, in charge. Basically the big honcho of Union of this battle. So the two forces finally collided, like I said, July 1st, 1863. Lee urgently, this is where Lee screwed up. Lee urgently concentrated his forces there, meaning, he literally thought that he was going to be able to end the war. That's what his thoughts were. He's like, we've got him, and his scouts, like I said, they thought they came across dismantled cavalry, but what they didn't know, they already had two brigades of Union soldiers. So almost half the army. What's going on, everybody? I see y'all coming in. Hey, Melody, there you go. So with this going on, Lee's like, no, it needs to stop now. I'm going to fight him because, even some of his, I think it was Longstreet, I think that's his name, was even telling him, no, I don't think we should do this. But lo and behold, Lee's like, no, he was stern. And Lee, as far as military knowledge, is a very highly respectable person. He knew how to fight the war. So that's how it started. Lee stood his ground, and it worked out at the beginning. This is where it gets crazy. So his objective was, like I said, to engage the Union Army and destroy it. So the low ridges to the northwest of town and were literally defended initially by a Union cavalry division, aka dismantled cavalry, And on top of that, it was done by Brigadier General George Buford. So like I said, Lee's scouts completely underestimated the numbers. And like I said, they were reinforced with 2 brigades. So long story short, they popped the shots off, didn't go as well. And then all of a sudden, the Confederates got a break. They actually, this is where it starts to escalate, to bring up higher morale for the Confederate soldiers. So, however, 2 large Confederate corps assaulted them from the northwest and the north, collapsing the hastily developed Union lines. So there's that collapsing. So what does that mean? Pushes them back through the town of Gettysburg. Union Army went in retreat, and they went to get the high ground, which was a smart move. So Culp's Hill, Little Round Top, Big Round Top, those hills, boom, bam. Overnight, they dug up, fortifications, stuff like that. They automatically had the higher ground. So after that, they realized that. Like, oh, snap. So all that morale went from up here to kind of, okay, maybe to, slim to none by the time the battle was over. So on the second day of battle, this is when, like, most of the insanely intense fighting started. Both of the armies mainly have assembled. They got into position and they started attacking. The Union line was laid out into the infamous fish hook. So if you could imagine just a fish hook, and then the Confederates tried to surround them, basically, just trying to keep everything short, because, like I said, I could go on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours about this battle. So this is where it gets crazy. All right, so the Union line was laid out, like I said, in the fish hook in the late afternoon of July 2nd. Lee launched a heavy assault, on the Union left flank, and the fierce fighting raged. The most infamous spots, which is going to really, trigger into the haunted aspect. Little Round Top, and the most bloodiest part of the battle, the wheat field, aka Whirlpool of Death. Devil's Den, massive rocks. And for those of you, the Devil's Den, that has always been an attraction even before the Civil War. Has a lot to do with Native Americans and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that later. And of course, the Peach Orchard. So those were a lot of the key areas of the fighting going on. So as you can imagine, boom, fighting, a lot of death, a lot of stuff. So on the Union right, the Confederate forces escalated into full-scale assault onto Culp's Hill. So they started attacking Culp on Culp's Hill. What's going on, everybody? Despite the significant losses, the Union defenders held their line. For those of you, I don't know if anybody's watched the movie Gettysburg. There's an actual scene where the Confederates just kept pounding them and pounding them and pounding them uphill, and to the point where they were out of ammo. They were out of, necessary stuff. They lost bodies. They were low on numbers, and, they couldn't take the attacks anymore. That probably legitimately happened. So they put bayonets on, and as you can imagine, they had the high ground. Boom, they were able to, push and sweep the Confederate forces back out of the woods. Devil's Den, the fighting was so close and intense there. It changed hands numerous times in those 3 days. So you can just, piece things together as we go on. And Cemetery Hill, that was another spot that was being heavily assaulted. Cemetery Hill is a beautiful, it's actually one of my more favorite spots of Gettysburg. Such a key position. If you go out there and you stand and you look out where these, the Union defenses were, you can see they were perfectly placed. You could monitor a lot of stuff. So all across the battlefield, despite, like I said, the significant losses, the Union dug in and they defended their lines. On the third day of battle, the fighting resumed on Culp's Hill. So Culp's Hill never saw a break in fighting. It constantly went all 3 days of the battle. And with that being said, a lot of cavalry, of course. Cavalry battles raged the east and the south. East Cavalry Field, which is one of the last cavalry battles, which kind of pushed Lee, out. And for those of you who don't know, General Custer, yes, the infamous General Custer was a part of that. That being said, trying to keep this short and simple to where it makes sense. Hopefully this is making sense. But the main event, which everybody knows, and if you could imagine 12,500 Confederates running at you, aka Pickett's charge. This started where the Union, where the angle is, and the field across adjacent from it. So this was the final stretch for the Confederacy. A lot of people died. A lot of people died in that field. And if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just open. It's just open. There's a wall eventually that they ran into, but shortly after they were just picked off. So I mean, they launched it right at the center of the Union line. So Pickett really, he tried his best. But like I said, the charge was repelled by the Union rifle and artillery fire. So grape shots. Those took a crucial 12 pounders. If you go around, like I said, it's so cool to go back and see. You can still see where cannonballs are, knocked a hole in the brick and stuff like that. Bullets. It's crazy. So that is what really ended the battle. Pickett's charge. That was the final straw. Like I said, they lost thousands. So at that point, of course, Lee fled on a tortuous retreat back to Virginia. Between 46,000 and 51,000 soldiers from both armies were the casualties. What's up, Sky? In the 3-day battle, but like I said, those are just casualties. That's including all the killing, the people that were killed, wounded, and whatnot, injured. But only like 3,500 people were killed, not 35,000. So yeah, and then shortly after the Battle of Gettysburg, November 19th, I want to say 1863. This is after the battle. President Lincoln, did the dedication ceremony for the Gettysburg National Cemetery that is still there, and to honor, the fallen Union soldiers and Gettysburg Address. So that's it. That's the best I can explain it without going into further detail. So now we're done with the history part. We'll get into the haunted history. So, how's Gettysburg not haunted? You know what I'm saying? All that death. Just think of it. Everywhere out there, still fighting, death. Claims have been everything, full-bodied apparitions. Phantom sounds, residual sounds from the past, which I've actually experienced. We'll talk about here in a minute. So I'm going to pull up the live video before we get into the haunted history. I don't want to miss anybody. So give me 1 second to pull everybody up out here real quick. All right. What's up, Freddie? What's up, Melody? What's up, Brent and Emma? How's it going? Like I said, I was reading through my little cluster of history on my phone, so I apologize if I missed anybody. What's up, Sandra? I see you, Sandra. What's up, Tracy? Linda? Okay, so back to the haunted history part. You got everything out there. You got, of course, mainly residual because of all that trauma and stuff that happened in that area. How are you not going to have activity? You do have your intelligence. Most of the stuff I think I've experienced was residual, which we'll get into the personal experiences here later, but disembodied voices, of course, musket fire, cannon fire, horses, marching, drums, and fife, flutes, has all been, reported. It's crazy. So trying to keep it short because, like I said, I could go on for hours about this. So as far as personal experiences, and if anybody else has been to Gettysburg and has had personal experiences, feel free. Let's talk about it. Because the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash is happening towards the end of the month, the 19th through the 22nd, I believe, of this month. I will not be there, unfortunately, but I'll be there in spirit. So I'm sorry if I'm going to miss anybody out there, but I'll be in Gettysburg in September. So looking forward to that. So that being said, personal experiences for me, I've only been out there twice. And the second time was where I had the most experience. The first time is actually, I was at Devil's Den. I was hanging out with my good friends from Elite Paranormal Society, Melody, Freddie, Robert, and all of our good friends that as well from Dixieland Mystical Society, Linda, Jim, all of them. And we're just sitting out there. And it's almost time for the park rangers to roll up and kick everybody out. It's about 9:30, 10 o'clock. All of a sudden, you just hear boom, boom. We're like, the hell? I thought originally fireworks, but then it dawned on me. It's like, no, nobody's shooting fireworks off in a national park. They don't even allow reenactments in that area of Gettysburg. Dawned on me. It sounded like Confederate cannon fire. I was looking at the hat back there, so I thought Confederate. Ignore it. I'm still exhausted from the week, if you could not tell. And I wanted to hop on here because originally I was debating going live, and I was like, nah. But I was like, no, I need to. I haven't been on here in a while. So we actually heard the cannon go off. The night before that, we were at East Calvary Field. I actually heard muskets, and not only did I hear it, but Linda and them actually heard a musket where they were down. So it was almost like there was a shot being fired from here towards that way, and that one shot back. So it was like crack, crack. Crazy. After that, the following day after our first day there, I was at Colts Hill, and I actually heard a musket volley like that. You know how they all fired in a line coming from the wood line. And I'm sitting here, okay, where's the smoke? Somebody's down there shooting a musket. No. So it was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Fast forward to going out the second time. I was in the peach orchard one night, and there's a monument where I was standing. I literally saw a person walk from behind me. I turned around. I can't remember exactly. It was from my right to left. It went like that. I saw it. The full figure is just a shadow person right behind the monument. So I just sat there for a second, waited for it to come out. Didn't come out. Went around, looked at the monument. Nothing was behind it. It's like, okay. So I was like, oh, interesting. So a couple days go by, and then next thing you know, Melody was out there with me, Linda, Jim. We were all out at the wheat field. This is nuts. I had the mel meter out and walking around towards the Confederate line, I think no, maybe it was the Union. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and sit and actually look. Anyway, one of the lines, we kept hearing like movement, like crawling in the actual field. And Jim pulls out his FLIR, scans the area. There's nobody out there. There's somebody standing way down in the distance, but there's no way in hell they're making that noise that close to us. So we're standing there. All of a sudden, the mel meter starts getting 5.6. I was like, okay, brand new batteries. I was like, okay, that's a little high because it was EMF flat for a while. Then it went to 8.5. And I was like, okay, that's a little strange. It was pulsating energy. Like, it wasn't consistent. It was like 1 point something, boom. Then it go to 5 point, like I said, and then it'd be like 8. It's like a pulsating. You could literally see it pulsating with the reading of the temperature. You couldn't actually see like energy form pulsating, but it made sense how it was pulsating. Shortly after that, we literally hear a man grunting like he's crawling and in pain. Then after that, we heard a horse. This is like 9:30 at night, pitch black. Nobody's allowed to even ride horses like that through the actual battlefield. They have the horse tours, but they ain't doing them at like 10 o'clock at night. And if they were, you would have seen them. You know, they would have had lanterns or something. So that's where it got a little crazy. I was blown away by that. So if that wasn't enough, we went to Sachs Bridge. Nothing really happened. Went to Suicide Bridge. Nothing really happened. So we're getting ready. Melody's taking me back where I was staying, and we were joking about that one video that was going around that was like a window dropping, coming down a windshield. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know, oh, water's a ghost or something like that. And as soon as I said that, I literally see, what's up, Miles? I see a Confederate soldier walking away into like an active crop. They were still farming in this area. And I can describe him to a T. He was wearing, you know, the typical dirty white long sleeve shirt. You could see his suspenders, his canteen, his ammunition pouch, his rifle. It was up like this, and he was just walking, completely oblivious. Like I said, this is around 10 o'clock at night. Why the hell is somebody out there with no lights walking into a field? So I was like, holy shit. Melody's like, what? She slams the brakes on. And I'm like, I just saw a Confederate soldier literally walking into that field, made a mental note where it was at. That the next day I got up that morning and I walked out to where I saw it. Not only was it walking into a field, there's rocks. There's a fence. This person I saw literally walked right through this shit. Like, blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. So yeah, I actually can say I saw a full-bodied apparition at Gettysburg. That was the only one I've ever seen. Hopefully I'll see one again down there. But yeah, it was interesting. It was absolutely interesting. So that's as far as the personal experiences that I have right now, as far as the haunted history. But it's kind of dead in here. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, I'm sure. But if you are still here and want to talk, I will be at your disposal for the next several minutes. All depends on interaction when I get off here. Hopefully everybody's kind of enjoyed the history aspect of it. What's going on, Miles? What's going on, bro? Down to play some Call of Duty or something? Or I'm even down for Skater XL now they got that multiplayer. So yeah. What's everybody up to tonight? Feel free, let's talk. Those of you that are just tuning in, I just got done describing the history of the battle as quickly as I could. There's so much stuff that I didn't even fully cover. I just tried to cover the main aspects of the battle. Yeah, there's not much going on tonight, y'all. So just going to chill, hang out for a little bit, talk to everybody, if anybody. My lives have been kind of quiet several times, and partially that's my fault because I don't stay consistent with it due to work and stuff. But like I said, I'm going to try to get on here as much as I can with everybody, hang out, chill, talk, do whatever. Wow, it's only been 35 minutes. I feel like I butchered the history, Sandra, but thank you, though. Who knows? I might be a park ranger one day. We'll see. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do a pre-recorded video of me actually sitting down and describing, the crucial. I mean, the whole entire details of the battle, and just put it out there for everybody. But I just figured it'd be a cool topic to kind of touch on since we got the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash coming up at the end of the month. So figured I'd talk about it. Big crucial part of the Civil War history. That was the battle, like I said, was the turning point. So all hail the Army of the Potomac. Way to hold your ground and defeat the rebels. That alone. Lee's army was a strong army, even though at the time they were weak. No, a lot of people underestimated them, but them Yankees don't play. Don't mess with the Yankees. But yep, it's dead in here, y'all. I hate to do this, y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that this history kind of lesson. Like I said, that's the first time I literally pieced that all together real quick before I hopped on. So wasn't properly planned out, but I put it out there. So yeah, I will see everybody soon. Stay tuned. As things start happening, I'll have more stuff to talk about. But right now, it's mainly work, and that's it. So hopefully some paranormal stuff, paranormal journeys will start happening. Like I said, I do have some stuff planned for the future that I will be start doing some filming with once I get my stuff and stuff I need for it. And it'll get busy. So I'm hoping this winter it'll pick up as far as my paranormal journeys and stuff. So, yep, that's it for now, everybody. So thank you so much. Like I said, I appreciate every one of you that has taken the time to hop on here, hang out, and listen to me talk. I mean, that's how many of your day. So appreciate you. If you're on YouTube, feel free, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, turn the little bell notification on. You'll get prompted when I go on. I'm getting some guests and stuff lined up for some podcasts and stuff like that. And if anybody wants me to be a part of your podcast, hit me up. I'm always willing to hop on and do a podcast with someone else. So that being said, I'm gonna get off here. Have a great night, everybody, and I will see everybody soon.